Good evening, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChiara coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York, once again to bring you another amazing version of Joe DiChiara Presents How to Win a Business. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Bedrock University. Go to Bedrock University. Tuition is free for the time being, and classes are open. There is no COVID-19 on the internet. The only virus you can get on the internet is a computer virus, I guess. So go to Bedrock University if you want to learn about business from real entrepreneurs that are in the trenches and doing it and talking about it and teaching it. And it's also brought to you by my favorite vendor in the world, Sudoku. Sudoku is a crafts business started by my mom. I recommend everybody go there, buy your COVID-19 masks. The masks are made with love, and now she's putting up all kinds of Christmas stuff. And this is all handmade stuff made with love from mom, folks. So visit them today and support our sponsors. And if you don't know me, let me take a second to introduce myself. I am a CPA entrepreneuraholic. This is all I can think about from the time I wake up in the morning till I go to sleep at night is being an entrepreneur, the excitement behind it, the stories behind it. And most importantly, my role, my mission in life is to help entrepreneurs, especially brand new entrepreneurs that don't know what they're in for. And sometimes I might scare people, which is okay. It's not okay for my business. I don't know what happened. I got a brand new client on Friday. We're setting up a corporation, we're doing the bookkeeping. And today I get an email saying that we're not a good fit. And I don't know why I'm sort of like brokenhearted, but that it happens. Sometimes, I might not be the perfect fit for everybody, and I understand that. But what I'd like you to know, if you are new and watching me, if I scare you out of going into business, then I probably did my job. Because if anybody could scare you out of not being in business, then you don't belong in business. It's as simple as that. And that's my story. I will always stick to it. And tonight, the training, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach, because I have been talking specifically about the benefits of being an S Corp compared to being a sole proprietor. Now, there's this like third choice that popped up about 20 years ago that just, it's called an LLC, limited liability company. And it really drives me crazy. It irks me as to how many people pick LLC over an S Corp. And it's just because of who I am, what I know, the facts, the fact that I've been doing this for, I'm a CPA going on 37 years now. I got my license in March of 1984, folks. So do the math. That's a bunch of years. And the laws have not changed. The comparison of choosing an S Corp compared to a sole proprietor is still the same. It's the same as it was when I first got into business. Now, obviously we didn't have the internet then. We didn't have instant information. We didn't have the states and federal government's ability to basically know every single freaking transaction that you do. You register a business, you're on the radar, folks. Okay, I don't care if you're a sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, C Corp. You put your ATM card in that gizmo to pay something. Everybody in the world knows about it, and they all got eyes on you, especially if you're in California. So if you're in California, I'm going to pray for you. If you're in business, I have a bunch of clients in California. It is tough. It is tough because you're on a whole nother level of state compliance. So I would not recommend anybody start a business in California unless you live there. You know, if you live there, that's where your business has to be. You can't live in California and have a business in Delaware unless you're actually getting on a plane and going to Delaware to conduct your business. But that's a whole nother story. So let's get to the crux of the problem, which is what I like to do. You know, on most occasions, I go through this. And if you've seen it before, I'm sorry, but it's still the truth. Life is tough. Life is complicated. And what sets us apart as entrepreneurs is we make it even harder. We go into business. Life is not going to get easier when you start a business. And if you're watching live, and I keep forgetting to do this, but if you're watching live, get on the thread, give me like a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And I want to share with you, you know, after this, some of the discussion that I had today with a bunch of people that watched yesterday's version and people that don't agree with me. And I understand. People have different perspectives, different experiences, but I am focused on one type of business entity, the sole proprietor. And when professionals start getting into the conversation about legal issues and QBI stuff and all of that stuff doesn't factor in. It just makes it more confusing. So back to the problem. So we have this problem, a life problem. Life is complicated. Life is tough. If anybody doesn't agree with me, you know, you must be like Mary Poppins or something. But business is tough. I don't care if you're running an ice cream truck. In Manhattan, you need a lawyer and a CPA just to get a license to run a hot dog stand. So I can't make it any more clear. And I'm not the only one that feels like this. You know, there's all kinds of statistics out there. According to Forbes, 8 out of 10 businesses fail. 8 out of 10 businesses fail. We can go into a lot more detail. I think my friend John Limbacher has it closer. Given enough time, almost all businesses will fail. Unless you become a corporation or an entity that either sells the business or hands it down to somebody. But once you're done here, once your life is over, your business is basically over. Now, that doesn't mean that it's technically failed, but it's no longer in business, which is why a lot of the numbers are meaningless. You could look at all the numbers and then when you start dissecting them, you know, you get to the bottom. Let's go with my 40 years of CPA experience, my own entrepreneurial endeavors, where I must have started 30 or 40 businesses. And I could tell you 2 of them I sold. So that you know, 2 of them I sold. And the rest aren't here anymore. What happened to them? They're out of business. They died. They failed. That's what happens most of the time. So if you are just starting a business, the chances are stacked against you right from the get-go. Now, why is this? Why do so many businesses fail? And, you know, we could go into like, well, what's failing. Like I just described two businesses businesses that didn't necessarily fail, but are out of business. Let's talk about the ones that never get off the ground. The millions of businesses that start out and never generate a penny in profits, in revenue. That's right, folks. Millions and millions of businesses start each year and never generate a penny in revenue. Ultimately, to fail, because if you just don't generate revenue, but that's not the crux of the problem, because most people, when they go into business, can generate sales. So it's not that, they're not doing sales, so they fail. What they're doing is they're failing because it's so damn complicated and confusing. It's complicated to begin with. If you just look at the rules, the compliance laws, it's complicated. Just to set up a simple online Etsy store, if you want. Okay. It's complicated when you start getting into things like sales tax but what makes it even more confusing is the lack of good, solid information. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And my goal with all of these trainings is to show you ways to make your business simple, fun, and profitable. It's a lot easier to make money when you're having fun, and it's easier to have fun when things are simple. And I hope that you agree with me on that point. But that's the point. So let's get right into the three reasons, and it's really only one reason when it comes down to it. It's really only one reason. When a sole proprietor chooses to become an LLC, they are handling the legal side of business. I don't do legal. I do taxes. I'm a CPA. Okay. So you may have a legal reason for choosing LLC, and that's all fine and dandy, but that doesn't mean anything at all when it comes to filing your taxes. And this is something that I don't think people understand. It is a non-issue, folks. It's a non-issue. A single member LLC is considered a sole proprietor for tax purposes, which means if you're in business and you're a sole proprietor and you want to reduce your taxes, being an LLC ain't going to do anything for you, folks. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. That's the fact. LLCs do not come with any kind of tax classification. They are given what they call default classification. So a single member LLC is automatically a sole proprietor. If there's more than one member, it's classified as a partnership. There is no tax. It doesn't cover taxes. It covers the legal aspect of business. And fortunately, most businesses never even get into legal conundrums. Most people don't wind up in court because of something that happened in the business. Yeah, it happens. It happens enough times so that has to be addressed, which is something that a lawyer does. So I think a lot of people are getting me confused with trying to give legal advice. I don't give legal advice. No way. My son is an attorney. He spent a lot of money, got a degree, spent a lot of time taking the exam, passing the bar exam, and I respect that. I'm not going to practice law. This is all about taxes, folks. And when you become an LLC without realizing it, you are still taxed as a sole proprietor. Unless, and then there's people out there, there's wise guys that'll tell you, well, yeah, but then you can elect to be taxed as a corporation. Well, yeah, so then why not just be a corporation? Why not just set up for tax purposes? So when I did my little scenario with the large tax group, and I saw all the feedback, over half of it had to do with legal issues. Oh, they have to seek the advice of an attorney. This is a legal matter. Well, yeah, creating an entity is a legal matter. It's has to be formed at the state level, and there's legal documents, so it's a legal matter. But I don't practice law. I don't know how to protect people in case they're getting sued. I wouldn't even know what the first thing to do is. But I do know how to prepare a tax return. So here's the thing, folks. So many professionals, for reasons unbeknownst to me, are advising people that they should be LLCs. And unless you're a lawyer, I don't see how anybody could tell you that you should be an LLC. But if you're looking to lower your taxes, being an LLC is like, it's like buying insurance for a car that you don't even own, if that makes sense. That's probably not a good analogy. But if you're trying to raise your business to another level and you think that forming an LLC is going to bring you, yeah, it's going to bring you up a notch, because now you're not just a sole proprietor, you're an LLC. But the IRS doesn't care about that. The lawyers might care if they want to sue you, but that's not my area. I only cover taxes. So then the issue becomes, it's not even three choices, folks. It's really only two. You only have two choices when it comes to your taxes. Are you going to be a sole proprietor or an S Corp or even a C Corp, which, sometimes and in certain circumstances, a C Corp has advantages over an S Corp, which I'm not going to get into now. But you need to talk to a tax specialist. And unfortunately, my tax professional friends are getting mixed up between legal issues and tax issues. Our job as CPAs, enrolled agents, tax professionals is to protect our clients and minimize their taxes. That's what my job is. So if you're telling somebody to become an LLC, you're not covering the tax issue. So let's uncomplicate this, folks. It's not that complicated. So one of my friends that was in the discussion with me recommended this other site. Yesterday I used a site to demonstrate how bad it was to be a sole proprietor. And just give me a second. I have to get my... I actually lost where I was. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, I don't think this is going to work, folks. I sort of like lost my way here. And I am still live, and I'm going into live again. I don't know what happened with my... There we go. And no, that's not good. Okay, I apologize. We're getting feedback. I don't know what happened, folks, but I made my point. That's my story. I'm sticking with it, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Another lesson in technology. Good night. God bless. Thank you.